Nistas and Nistas, how are you today? Welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you guys for coming back to the channel. I'm SavingsFashionista, and over here we do mainly things fragrances, whether it's body or home. And today we are here to talk fragrances, and we're going to be talking about some samples that I want to share with you guys. So if you're interested in hearing my initial thoughts on these samples that I've been playing around with for a while, please stay tuned. So today, you guys, I'm going to share with you some samples. Some of them I recently ordered right after the holidays, and the other ones are, it's a couple that I had from just going in stores and just browsing around, or I either got them with another purchase. So I think I have 8 samples here, and we're going to just get right into it. All right, so the very first fragrance that we're going to talk about, it comes from the house of Born to Stand Out. And I have seen these fragrances around. There's a whole collection of them, and the majority of them that I've kind of seen, they give like a gourmand thought of mine when I see the names. So the one that I was most interested by is the one that's called Be My Cookie. So what I did was I wrote down the notes that came to mind, or the words or thoughts that came to mind when I initially sprayed them on the card. And my first thoughts were gourmand, chocolate, vanilla, and some type of fruit. Now for this one, I did not know the actual fragrance notes and had not experienced this fragrance ever, but that's what I got. So this is definitely a gourmand fragrance. I get that chocolatey note in it. To me, it's more of a chocolate than an actual cookie note, and I think that there is more of a cookie note. It says crunchy cookie opposed to chocolate, but to me it just gives me a chocolate vibe. But the notes, according to their website, is natural raspberry, so that's where that fruitiness is coming from. Crunchy cookie, castoreum, and you know castoreum is like a musky scent that comes from the gland of a beaver. Bourbon vanilla, and cotino. I think that's some type of musk as well. But this does have a very musky undertone, but I do think that there is a great balance of the actual vanilla and the gourmand notes and the raspberry to balance it out, and it not be more of a freshy, musky, ambroxan fragrance opposed to being a gourmand fragrance. And it's decent, it's nice. So I am definitely still thinking about this one. I do want to experience more from this house. So again, this is Be My Cookie from Born to Stand Out. All right, you guys, so the next fragrance is a fragrance that I have had forever. I got this with the purchase of another fragrance from one of my local fragrance boutiques, and this is from Mind Game. But I do have this one, which is called CISS, and this is by Mind Games. So what first came to mind when I smelled CISS, and I have played around with this on my skin as well as on a card. This right here, the first thing that came to my mind was sexy fruitiness. And if you know anything about those beautiful fruity fragrances from the house of Tiziana Terenzi, this fragrance here, CISS, it's giving me that Tiziana Terenzi vibe that you get with Andromeda and Cassiopeia. It's giving that vibe, but it definitely stands out and have some really nice fragrance notes in it. The fragrance notes are black licorice, pink peppercorn, cardamom, tubalan, DL, I don't even know what that is, ylang Madagascar, jasmine, Egypt, white gardenia, cocoa bean, and vegan musk. I can't even read my own writing, y'all. So those are the fragrance notes. And like I said, this is definitely a sexy, fruity fragrance. And if you are a fan of Tiziana Terenzi and you like what they provide, I do think that CISS is worth giving a try. I think Norma made a really good pick when she was, you know, telling me that this was her favorite from the white line. And like I said, I cannot find the one that she gave me in black. But it's a nice fragrance. And I did check this off as loving it. I don't see myself getting this in the near future because I do have other fragrances in my fragrance collection that gives me that vibe that I do not give enough attention to. So it would just be redundant for me to purchase another one to just be on the shelf. But it is a beautiful fragrance. So again, this is CISS from the House of Mind Games. All right, the next fragrance, you guys, this fragrance is from the House of Creed, and I actually went in store a couple days after they were received in my Saks Fifth Avenue. It came out with a partner. It came out with this, and the other one was like in this maroon red bottle. But the one that I was mostly interested in and I was mostly impressed by was the Delphinus, and that's the one that comes in the orange bottle. And reapplying this and rethinking about this, I still think of soft leather. It's mildly fruity, and you do get that suede essence, which suede and leather, depending on how it's blended, it could almost be one and the same. I do think that if you are a person that's trying to get into leather fragrances, this would be a great introduction. Or if you are a person that wants that leathery smell or that leathery type of fragrance year round, this would also be perfect for that. And it is also a very balanced unisex fragrance. So again, this is Delphinus. I rated this one as a love because this is on my wish list and I want it sooner than later, because like I said, this is definitely one of those fragrances that you can wear year round and you really can enjoy this fragrance at any time of the year, in my opinion. So the actual fragrance notes in Delphinus are black pepper, incense, almond, pink pepper, heliotrope, orchid, iris butter, patchouli, tonka bean, leather accord, bourbon, vanilla, and Madagascar. This is just such a well blended fragrance. I tell you all the time, patchouli is one of those fragrances, if it's not done right in the fragrance, it's a total turn off, but this is perfectly done. You definitely get that patchouli smell, and you do get that spiciness from the pepper. I can't say that this fragrance gives me a lot of almond. On this card, it may do something a little different on skin, and I've been really playing around with this. I ordered me one of those little drams of oil, and I've made me a Delphinus body oil, a DIY body oil that I've been wearing with different fragrances, and I'm vibing with Delphinus. Really do like it, so I did mark that one as a love. So again, that is Delphinus from the House of Creed. The next fragrance is a fragrance that has always had me very interested, but never, I don't even think my boutique carried this particular one, because there is such a vast array of fragrance in this particular house, which is Byredo. And I do own several from this house, but this one here, I've always wondered what it was like. And this is Closed Eyes by Byredo. My first thoughts with Closed Eyes, you guys, is a fragrance note that just does not agree with me. It gives me a headache. It creates a sinus issue. I do think that I can take it in mild doses and if it's blended the correct way, but I picked up on this fragrance note instantly. And the fragrance note that I'm speaking of in Closed Eyes is carrot. That was the first thing that came to mind. The other thoughts that came to mind were woody. It has this greenness to it, and it is definitely a unique fragrance. Definitely a unique fragrance. Different from any of the Byredos that I currently own. And it's different. It is a different fragrance. It has fragrance notes of cardamom, cinnamon, carrot, ginger, orris, butter, papayas, and patchouli. The ginger in here is so pretty, very pretty. but I would definitely have to wear this a little bit more and play around with it on my skin to see how it affects my sinus issue that I have. But as far as just smelling it, I do like it, but it could be one of those situations where my sinuses just don't agree with it. So I did mark this one as a not for me right now, because I definitely would have to play with this a little bit more. So again, this is Closed Eyes by Byredo. The next one, I've already featured this fragrance on the channel, but I wanted to spend more time with it because when I got the fragrance, we were going out of the spring into the fall, and I knew it was something that I would not immediately pick up because it gave more of a spring summer type of DNA. And that fragrance is from the house of Parfums de Marly. And if you want to see my initial thoughts on that, you can click the card above. This is Palatine. And this is the one that comes in this beautiful purple bottle. And when I initially sampled the fragrance and I told you guys about it, I basically just told you it was cute. You know, it was a nice fragrance. I do think that it really had a powerful longevity as far as the wear time. Not saying that the projection or the fragrance is overly powerful. I have heard many people say that it's just a designer fragrance in a pretty bottle. But some of my first thoughts, and still to this day, it's a soft floral. You definitely get that lavender note in it. And I can see why people are saying that this is more of a designer fragrance than what we are used to from the house of Parfums de Marly. And I'm still thinking about this one. Still thinking about it. I did wear it on Sunday, and I got kind of irritated with the smell of it, and it could just not be the right time of year for it, because I don't remember feeling this way when I initially went in store and was smelling it. I sprayed it on my clothes, sprayed it on my skin. I don't remember feeling this way, but for some reason Sunday I had to like quickly, after about an hour, go and take a shower and get this off of me because it was just not agreeing with my sinuses and my headache. I actually got a headache from it. So we're still thinking about that one. So again, that is Palatine from the house of Parfums de Marly. So the next one, you guys, I've always been super interested in this. This fragrance has been around for a while, and I remember when it was getting a lot of publicity. And you know, I have a thing for pistachio fragrances, and this fragrance is nothing what I thought it would be. You know, when you think of a pistachio fragrance, you think of, you know, just gourmand, nutty fragrance. So this is Pistachio from the house of DS Durga. DS Durga. I just butchered the names, y'all forgive me. But I'm gonna reapply this, and some of my first thoughts with pistachio were boozy. I could smell honey in it, and it just was not giving me pistachio vibes. Not the pistachio that I like. It wasn't giving me anything close to that. I don't know, but this fragrance, basically in every level of the fragrance, it says that it has pistachio in the top, pistachio with cardamom in the top. At the heart, it has pistachio and roasted almonds. And at the base of it, it has pistachio, patchouli, and vanilla cream. It has to be the patchouli that just does not mix well for me with this pistachio note. I was expecting it to be a bit more creamy, but this is definitely a different take on the type of pistachio that I like. So this one is definitely not for me. It's not for me, not for me. So the next one, I've also been curious about this house, and this is from the house of Andrea Mack. And this one is Solstice. Extrait de Parfum. This is the Solstice one. This one come in one of the black bottles. And my first thoughts with Solstice, it was soapy. It gives me a wild floral fragrance, and it also puts me in the mind of something sweet and wild like a honeysuckle. So, and then it came to me once I looked up the fragrance notes, and I saw that it has fragrance notes of watermelon, mandarin accord, jasmine, violet, mugget, amber, and sinfonide. These names, boy, I tell you. But this would give me a headache. For whatever reason, I think it's the meringue notes in here that would just give me a headache, or it could be a combination of the meringue notes mixed with the violet. And I like violet and I love jasmine. No problems with the watermelon, but this, I could see this giving me a headache. And it could just be in this season. So we're gonna put her to the side. I'm still thinking, and we'll come back to this one. Come back to it. So again, this is Solstice from Andrea Mack. And the last one, you guys, is from the house of BDK, and this is Tabac Rose from BDK. So this one I rated as a love. This is such a rich, deep, peppery rose, and it has like this sexiness to it. This is one of those roses that a man could get away with. This is one of those like Atomic Rose from Initio. More of a balanced type of Delina, more unisex than female Delina exclusive in my opinion. So my first thoughts were rose, lychee, and pepper, and it also kind of like toned down to something very powdery. And I'm still feeling this. This is super nice. So the fragrance notes in Tabac Rose are plum, pink pepper, lemon, Turkish rose, chocolate, cinnamon, tobacco, patchouli, and lavender. If you apply too much of this, the patchouli I think will really take over this fragrance. But if you layer this right and you put it on properly, as for me, this is a very beautiful fragrance. I did rate this one as a love. So this may be added soon. So again, that is Tabac Rose from BDK. So you guys, those are all the fragrance. I did end up with 8. Yeah, so I had 8 fragrances here. And like I said, there's definitely some loves that I will one day add to the collection. There are still some ones in here that I am still thinking about. And there are some ones that I think that are just not for me, of course. So let me know if you've sampled any of these fragrances or any fragrances from any of these houses. And let me know what you think about them, if you've experienced any of them. I want to thank you guys so very much. I greatly appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. And do not forget, you, yes you are great. Bye-bye.